Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is Kyle and Drew with your sneak peek at next week, episode number 365. Drew, that means that you can listen to Comics for Fun and Profit every single day for an entire year as of now. 365. So, Drew, we're going to talk about comics originally releasing February 22nd, 2017. But before we get into that, Drew, guess what? We have an iTunes review, our second iTunes review of 2017.
Dun, dun, dun,
Special
dun.
shout out. Yeah, special shout out to Mike Booch, who said, "It's good to have people not judging me for wanting to slab my books. I've been collecting comics my entire life because I love the characters and stories. This last year, I began collecting for profit and reselling. Everywhere I went, people judged me, saying they don't believe in putting their books in cases, despite the fact that trade paperbacks and digital comics exist. This podcast is perfect, as it encompasses everything I love and want to know about current titles. What should I invest in, and what should I pick up as a good read, and everything in between. They're consistent and easy to listen to. Keep up the great work." Mike Booch, we thank you so much for that review. We thank you for your 5 stars. We agree. I have some slab books. Man, I love the way slab books look. There are certain things that I just want to have encapsulated. I want to know that they're perfect, that somebody out there agrees that they are 9.8 and perfect. And, you know, from a sales perspective, the market continues to move towards slab comics being your best secondary market option.
I have a slab question, actually.
Okay.
I picked up. Okay, so you know, New Mutants has like 5 or 6 keys in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the run. So you got your Cable
New
first, your Deadpool first, you've got the Legion first, and a cameo, and it might be 1 or 2 others in there. I don't know. So I picked up New Mutants number 1, like the first issue, and it looks really good. Is that something that I should get slabbed? Do you think eventually that'll be a key?
I mean, doesn't seem like there's any first appearances in it, so I'd say no, it's not necessarily a key. There was a big print run, if I remember correctly, on that kind of stuff, so that's not one I would necessarily consider a key or consider a capstone for my collection.
It's sold, you know, for $100 as a 9.8 a couple times. It sold for $20 raw. And I'm like, I wonder. I just don't. I don't. First of all, I think there's a bumped corner, so I think I'm gonna go. I want to be down in the 9.4s or 9.6s anyway. I get dicked, so I probably should hold out for a better copy if I even think about doing that.
And as far as, you know, spending your investment on encapsulation and grading, I think there's better areas to spend your money than that.
Yeah, well, not much left in my collection. I've cherry picked most of it.
Find that 7 to Eternity and send it off if you really want an option.
You think?
Why not?
What's it? What are the slab 7 to Eternities going for?
I don't know, Mr. Cover B. What are they going for?
Didn't you say it cooled off?
Yeah.
Yeah. While you're looking at that, and we thank you for that review, we got a great email from Julie at VIP Comics. VIP is Villains in Pants. She wanted us to tell Jason from Hawaii that I said thanks for helping me with my question about where to sell comics outside of eBay. We gave him the Instagram for Aloha Comics. That was really cool. And she appreciated that. And we also have another Instagrammer, and that's Cowabunga Comics. Cowabunga Comics, our buddies Eric and James, also are doing some things on Instagram with specials on comics and action figures and things. So you can check that out at Instagram.com/Cowabunga Comics, which I think is kind of cool.
Is it Cowabunga Comics or Incredicow?
It's Cowabunga Comics.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. Pretty sure I checked that and confirmed, and then now I'm doubting myself. You've made me doubt myself.
I apologize.
She goes on to say, I sold some digital codes on eBay. I put a description and listing consistent with suggestions in the Bleeding Cool article about digital code comic selling, and to keep items from getting canceled because I guess eBay's been cracking down. All was good, she says, until stupid eBay took down all her code listings and sent an email saying she violated their user agreement and was breaking copyright laws. So she called them up, asked the person on the phone to explain just exactly how she was violating copyright laws. They put her on hold and then proceeded to tell her that she's not actually violating any copyright laws, but eBay just doesn't want to allow comic book digital code sales anymore. Then the eBay person says, I hope you learned a valuable lesson.
Really? Wow.
And she says, I hate eBay.
How patronizing of eBay, my goodness.
So she has a question. Is there anywhere else she could sell digital codes, put digital codes up for sale? She's tried posting it on her Twitter, at Villains in Pants, if you want to follow her, on her Reddit, offered to sell through PayPal. No one's responded. Any suggestions on that?
I have not looked to see if that's an option for Amazon or not.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah. I've stopped doing it. The reason I stopped was because sometimes when I'd peel the damn sticker off, there'd be a letter distorted or a number off, or there'd be a chunk of it missing, and or I'm going blind and can't read anymore. I don't know if that has something to do with it, and it wouldn't work, and I'd end up having to refund money half the time, and it was such a hassle. Every time you get lucky and just like sell a big run and they'd all work, you'd have 2 or 3 that didn't go that way. So yeah. We got no advice for you on code selling outside of eBay, and looks like code selling at eBay is dead in the water. So thanks for the heads up on that. She says, Drew, if you were a superhero, you would be called Super Sleepy. You used to only yawn on Comics for Fun and Profit, but now you do this in your comic book page podcast as well. Do I yawn that much? Am I that yawny? I am up past my bedtime on a Friday night, but Kyle, if you were a superhero, you would be called the Amazing Auctioneer. Because, damn, you talk fast.
I like it. I'll take it. I just assumed it'd be Coffee McCofferton, because that's all I've been doing lately.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't stop yawning and speed talking, though. Those quirks make the show special. She lives in Florida, drives to CBCS regularly to drop off and deliver comics. They are 1 million times better than CGC. That's a lot of times. And I think if you are looking at grading for a long-term investment, I would use their service. This is the same advice we've received from James and Eric at Cowabunga, and a couple other folks as well. She says CGC will be garbage down the road. Their grading is entirely arbitrary. They do not give graders notes on every book, contrary to what their membership entails. And she says that they have a policy. We don't let our workers sell comics because we don't want a conflict of interest. She says there isn't an inherent conflict of interest. If you give customers good grades, they submit more comics. Which makes a lot of sense.
There you go.
Grading can be an objective process. You could say there's a color break along the spine of a comic post 1991 that automatically cannot score above a 9.0. Then you could say books after 91 up to 2 instances of 2 millimeters or less spine stress would cause a grade to go down 0.2. So the hypothetical comic described would be given an 8.8. Wow, that's a big drop.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big drop. We should do a grading. We should get the grading guide out once and just kind of go over some of the all the different breaks and the different permutations of what those are. That'd be kind of fun, or super boring. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get a couple $100 together and then submit some books to our good friends at Cowabunga with some pressing options on it, and just see what half a dozen of my books do, knowing that some are imperfect and some are not imperfect. I think that's kind of the next step in my my sales equation for 2017 is a little bit more slab and flip.
Yeah, I mean, some of the ones I want to slab are the ones that I got signed to me at C2E2 last year, and then I don't want to ever get rid of them.
Yeah, and those are things where CBCS has an option for validation on it. I have a bunch of things that I'll buy off Midtown that have a COA on it that'd be an easy validation for them, where they are in every way, shape, and form with not a supervised signature the best option for encapsulation.
Yeah, that's true. She talks a little bit about the rise of evil digital comics by saying many people hate us for speculating on comics. Is that true? Do people hate us?
Yeah, I mean they blame us for the bubble bursting and the current variant, all the variant stuff that's going on right now, and all the capped at 3,000 special Del Auto variants and stuff. It's us that created that thing, and
that's true.
Are moving the current comics landscape towards possibly another bubble burst. I mean, it would be our fault.
Yours.
Yes, but it's on me entirely.
The comic industry was going along great, and then Kyle came along.
No, but in general, chasing those certain things that then validates Marvel's shenanigans, that validates the 1 in 1,000 Venom, that validates the next lenticular, that validates the next 1 in 25 if you buy the other 5 from J. Scott Campbell variant.
We're suckers. That's what it is. She says, but if they still enjoy their physical books, they should be embracing us right now. Mm-hmm. I don't see any incentive for DC or Marvel to continue even printing comics outside the large community of comic book collectors. If people are discouraged from appreciating the financial investment of a comic book, then I think the print market will go the way of the CD. As it stands, Marvel and DC could pay the people that make comics and solely put them online to read. I'm sure the printing and shipping the physical copies is a large operating expense. The online versions have one upfront cost and then are pretty much continuous profit streams. Very good point. They need us on that wall.
I mean, we're dealing with this in every single form of medium. Video games come day and date digital as well as physical. But the market in that respect is afraid to start pulling physical copies off your Walmarts and GameStops because they need them to hold up the hardware market. So there's been no movement as far as price negating there. Blu-ray digital and 4K streaming are still continuing to be a thing, but there is still a market for 4K Blu-rays and physical media. There's still collector's editions. There's still steel case books. There's still all that things that you would think would be completely phased out by now. In every single market, physical is trying to be phased out, but it's holding, and I'm very, very curious. I mean, the collecting aspect of comics is the only thing holding it. If it was simply just, a consumption thing, the actual book would be dead.
Yeah, that's a sad thing. Kyle, it looks like there's another cat cosplay lover. She says she's putting one of her complete set of 10 Valiant cat cosplay covers up for sale on eBay. She triple dipped, one to sell, one for grading, and one for raw. She actually is getting her cosplay covers graded.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is kind of neat. She asks if we listen to other comic book podcasts. She listens to us, Comic Book Page, which I also am on, Comic Conspiracy, and Altered Egos Comics. I have not heard of those last two. Kyle, what do you listen to?
I do not. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but unfortunately, I do not listen to any other comic podcasts in the moment. I keep thinking about dipping into it, but I have not. I occasionally do support you on Comic Book Page. I apologize.
That's okay. You hear me enough.
Yeah.
I listen to iFanboy still. It's still one of my favorites, even though the guys are getting older and grumpier. It's still a pretty good show. There's one called Comic Slobs, which I found infuriating for a while. It was a lot of F-bombs and belches, and then they don't do that quite as much anymore. And I kind of find it endearing. I mean, I enjoy it now, and they have a lot of production value that they throw in their show. It's pretty good.
I've listened to a few episodes of Comic Brunch, Mike Myers' podcast, a couple times. There was a few things I specifically jumped in for that I enjoy, and then I've listened to our friends Derek at the Two Guys with PhDs podcast a couple times as well.
Yeah, that's the comics alternative.
That's what it is. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's Derek Royal does that one, and that's pretty good. It's a lot of interviews and some real back half of preview stuff, which I dig. I like that. I don't listen to Geek Brunch anymore. I listen to Mike's Weekly Reads, which is kind of his audio diary of what comics he's read and how he's working on his collection and picking up old books to fill out his run. That's kind of cool. That's kind of the one that I'm enjoying from Mike Myers. It's really good. But yeah, he's got like 10 podcasts, so you could pick any other. There's like DC Noise and a Valiant podcast, Gotham by Geeks. There's Geek Brunch. I know I'm missing a couple, but my favorite of his is the Mike Myers Weekly Reads. It's really good. What else? I like Major Spoilers sometimes. I listen to about the first 15 minutes of it, and sometimes I stay through to the comic reviews, and sometimes I bail on them. Just depends on what books they've chosen. And there's one called the Comic Book Podcast, which kind of had a shake up in who their host was. I check on that one every once in a while. I listen to a ton of comic book podcasts. That's the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. And but yeah, there are tons of them out there, and we appreciate you listening to us.
I need a longer commute. My 8-minute commute doesn't give me the ability to take as much content in. I don't think.
Yeah, 45 minutes allows me to do pretty much an episode each way, so that works out. She says that we should change our name to C4-FAP and create a logo that is a robot. So
yes,
C4FAP, which I think
I was uncomfortable with putting the term FAP in our title because I originally thought of that as far as truncating things, but that might not work for me.
C4FAP could be misconstrued on the internets quite easily, so I think I like it. I like the idea of being like a robot, but I don't know if C4FAP is the right way for us to go.
Sounds like some sort of autoerotic asphyxiation involving explosives. Oh,
God,
so I'm unaware. But yeah, I did look at that moniker when we first did this. I was like, oh, what can we make? And it's not going to work for an acronym.
She says super long email, but you guys are awesome and podcast famous. So yeah.
That's what I keep telling my wife. Honey, I'm podcast famous.
So we really appreciate the nice email, Julie. Thank you. And good luck selling your cat cosplay covers. Mm-hmm. I believe you can find her on eBay at Khaleesi42 because I wanted to see those cat covers and see what you were going to sell them for.
Heck yeah. I became so enamored with the cat cosplay covers that I now have a cat. So right now, crawling around my feet is Nova. It was the only comic book reference I could get into a name.
Nice. Speaking of Jason from Hawaii, he said he picked up the Savage Dragon God Country tribute cover,
Mm-hmm.
and the Walking Dead, I think it was Wildcats tribute cover.
Yep.
At his local comic shop, Dragon's Lair in Hawaii, with and he said the owner Lucas Martin kept those for him and made sure he got him at cover price. Didn't do any crazy markups or anything.
There you
So
go.
shout out to those guys. We got another.
We had just the opposite, where RCLs not only did
Well,
not
we're not
get
done.
any
We're not
in-
done.
Oh,
Michael.
I'm sorry.
Michael M got 5. So he got the Killer Be Killed, Walking Dead.
I got that one. I ended up with the Killer Be Killed. That's the only one I got.
He got the Savage Dragon, God Country. He got the Chew Manifest Destiny, which I would like to chew my arm off for that one. We've got the Invincible. Well, I don't know what that one is an homage to. I can't remember. And the so he got 5 of them. And how many did we get, Kyle, at our LCS?
Oh, from our LCS, 0.
0. Didn't order them. Didn't order any. Because he's garbage. Jesus. Worst. I told him today, I was like, you know what? This would be a great place to open a comic shop. Because you are awful. I'm waiting to get banned. I hope I get banned soon. I don't ever want to go in anyway. Thank God.
You're going to
for
catch
DC.
more flies with honey than vinegar there, Drew. Come on now.
Yeah. Thanks God for DCBS. Let's see. Michael also says, are you guys going to spec on the lenticular covers for the Flash and the Batman? They look really cool. I definitely am. I think they look cool too, and I got me a couple coming. Kyle?
Yep, absolutely.
Nice. Let's see. A few months ago, Michael went to a local LCS and had a big CGC authorized dealer sticker on their door. So of course that would bring you in. And he asked if they did pressing or submissions. Nope, they don't do any of that. Not just for their own books, not for any customer books. Why'd you put the decal on the? Why do you put the decal out there then? Just so you could say you. What does that mean? What would this big sticker mean if you're not going to do anything with it? That just means you carry CGCs? That's dumb. Okay. He asked why they had no first appearance books on their back wall, and they said any of those books go directly into their eBay store and are not for walk-in customers.
Ouch.
I struck up a conversation with another customer about comic book movies while browsing, and after a few minutes was told by the owner I should buy something or get out. This is not a bar. Wow. I was shocked. I guess it reinforced my decision to take almost all my business to DCBS and to get my own membership to CGC. Weird to me that they would turn away business. I definitely give props to Cowabunga. Seems like an awesome store to offer pressing, submissions, wall books, and great customer service. Yeah, it sounds like we're living parallel lives here, Michael. We're both having the same struggles with our LCSs. So, yeah, we all wish Cowabunga was right next door.
The first time I'll ever say this, I wish I lived in Oconomowoc.
Oconomowoc, yes. Well, we are still planning a trip. We're going to C2E2, and there's a chance we can get up to Oconomowoc. We have to figure out logistically and just when we could squeeze that in, and we'd like to do it during business hours, so we don't just come into town and say, "Hey, wake them up."
Yeah,
we're here. But yeah, that might be cool. I'd like to see it. Let's see. He says he tried to watch Legion. The first episode was a swing and a miss for him. Those trailers look great. I haven't seen it yet. 30 minutes in, I still have no idea what the story was about or who any of the characters were or why I should care. You watch Legion?
I didn't watch it yet.
Nope. And I believe last week or the week before, Wolf was asking about Riverdale. I think it was Wolf.
That's right, it was.
And I hadn't watched it at the time, but now I've seen the first 2 episodes, and I like it. I don't know if you like it, but I thought it's been really, really good. And
I heard they went kind of murder mystery with it. Is that right?
Super, yeah. It's like a murder mystery and a lot of beautiful people in it. I mean,
Hey.
Veronica is smoking hot. Off the charts. This Brazilian chick, she's like 22 years old or something. Man, crazy hot. But the rest of the cast is really pretty too. There's some hot for teacher stuff going on between Archie and his music teacher, and it's got some adult themes happening, and it's got a murder mystery happening. It's really cool. It's kind of barely Archie, but it's a good show so far. Two episodes in, I like it.
Very cool.
He said, I'm sure you already know, but God Country #1 heads back for a third printing. Book is red hot.
The second printing blew up. If you could have found it, it went up real good. That second cover, like I said, a different cover, the nice little red cover on it, sold through, was immediately, I think, double, if not more, cover that day on that Wednesday. So that was a good one. And then #2 selling all the way through as well.
Yeah. Book is red hot. Wish I would have ordered more than 2 copies. I walked right by one of those on the shelf.
Oh, yeah?
Issue #2, yeah. Didn't even pick it up. Let's see. Wolf asks...
a good rule, Drew, is if #1 sells through, always buy #2, because #2 is always the shortest run normally in books.
I know. I don't know why. I think I was trying to spend under $10, and so I picked up Saga 42 because it was like the most amazing read, so I wanted another copy.
Mm-hmm.
I might give that to somebody and say, here, this is like perfect storytelling. Here, read this. And I got the Wildstorm, that Warren Ellis thing, because I was intrigued by that launch, and I didn't know if I had any on order. I couldn't remember. And what was the other thing I picked up? Oh, I picked up another couple quarter Walking Deads.
Yeah.
So I kept doing that. I probably should have thrown that God Country #2 on there, and that's not a good move. Wolf talks about God Country as well, saying it's knocking it out of the park right now. Second print going for double cover, as I tweet. Hop on
a lot
board.
of second printing's going for $8-10 all day long on eBay.
Yeah. He also says the kid Reggie in the epilogue of Super Sons #1 may just be the first appearance of their first antagonist. Long-term hold.
Yeah, Super Sons for me was always a long-term hold to see what the leash is on that product. Yeah. So I think I've got 3 on them. And then, man, there are some amazing Super Sons individual store variants floating out there that were nowhere near me. I'm probably going to scavenge secondary markets for the next couple months to try to get those, because I love some of them so much.
Wow.
And most of that stuff's going to be long-term holds on the Super Sun stuff, just because I feel like those will grow into something.
I haven't read it yet. Good?
I haven't read it yet either. Oh. Oddly enough, how good it is the least relevant of what I'm doing with it.
I don't know. I'm not even going to read it. I just want one.
No, I am, but I'm still catching up on some stuff.
Yeah, there was some cryptic stuff in previews about Superman, and somebody dies, and then there's like a kind of he's thinking back about Jonathan and his life, and I'm like, if they kill off Jonathan, like, first of all, they shouldn't be able to,
yeah,
because they got Super Sons going on, but they better not kill his kid. I would be mad. That would be a bummer. Mm-hmm. Chris Brooks says comicexposure.com has all 15 image covers for $43 if you're interested.
It's less than cover.
That's not bad.
Well, no, that is cover, because one of them's a quarter.
Yeah, but I didn't get that one either. That's not a bad deal. I should probably check that out. comicexposure.com.
There you
And that is all our feedback, sir. Good stuff. We appreciate that very much. You too can go to our website, comicsfunprofit.com, for all the ways to reach us, either by email, comicsforfunandprofit@gmail.com, or through our Facebook or our Twitter. Those are the best ways to get a hold of us. And we appreciate all the feedback we get. And we love those iTunes reviews. So we got another one of those. That was great. And we appreciate it. What did you say? It was 36?
Yep. 38, actually.
38. That's pretty awesome. So we're on our way to 40. How about that? That's pretty nice.
And they said it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. We still don't have an official 2016 sales chart, but what we do have is January's top 10 over at Comic-Con. So we do have some information there. Number 10, Justice League. Number 12. Number 9 was Amazing Spider-Man. Number 23. Number 8, Monsters Unleashed. Number 1. Number 7, Justice League versus Suicide Squad. Number 3. Number 6 was All-Star Batman. Number 6. Number 5 was The Walking Dead 162. Number 4 was Justice League Power Rangers number 1. Number 3 was Batman 15. Number 2 was Batman 14. And number 1 was U.S. Avengers number 1 with the 50 to 60 covers.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think? What do we think that one sold?
That one's going to be up there, but what I'm looking at is maybe $3 under over 100,000. That's it.
You think it's the 2 Batmans and that's it?
Yeah.
And U.S. Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Walking Dead's not going to do it.
Mm-mm.
And that's not the quarter book, right?
Correct.
Right.
Well, that might be the quarter book.
162 in January? No, it was in February, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in February. We're getting these numbers later than I anticipated.
Yeah. Well, they're way behind.
Yeah, because we know the print run on friggin' the quarter book. So yeah, that's not the quarter book. So that's down there. So I guarantee that's under 100,000. Justice League Power Rangers under 100,000.
Didn't All-Star Batman sell over 100,000? Is it below?
All-Star Batman.
Hasn't it
All-Star Batman number 5, 87,422 for the month of December.
Okay. I stand corrected. Well, that one ain't going to be there then. I think you're right. It's going to be those top 3. I don't see Justice League Power... Well, Justice League Power Rangers number 1 could be.
$4 book? Nope.
I think it could be. Okay. You go 3, I'll go 4.
Okay, deal.
I'll go top 4 over 100,000. And then we've got some graphic novels. Their top 10, we got Batman Volume 1, I Am Gotham, so that's the first of the Rebirth. Killer Be Killed Volume 1 from Image came in at number 2. Got the Flash Volume 1, the Superman Volume 1, also Rebirth. Those are at 3 and 4. We see the first volume of Saga, done back at number 5. You gotta be kidding me! Wow, how many weeks and years has that thing been on there? That's awesome. Number 6 is Justice League Volume 1, and then we got Paper Girls Volume 1, so another Brian K. Vaughan. We've got Star Wars Han Solo at 8, the first and only Marvel to crack the top 10 in graphic novels. We got Green Arrows Volume 1, and then Black Monday Murders, which I need to pick up because I never ended up finishing that run. And I heard
it's freaking impressive for Black Monday Murders to be on that list, especially at the $19.99 price point, because those were thicker books.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
There's a lot of stuff to be impressed here. I mean, I think it's cool that the rose is not. What's the bloom isn't off the rose? Is that the saying? On Rebirth, all of the launch titles did really well. You know, I don't see Green Lanterns here, but it must have been just right underneath, or maybe it's out next month. But I think it came out at the same time. But I think this is all the launch titles in the top 10 besides that one. I think Kill or Be Killed is impressive to be at number 2, but it is Brubaker. But I think it's super impressive that Saga Volume 1 is still selling this much, this long. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Paper Girl's still got some legs. That's cool. Good old Star Wars Han Solo. That'd be a nice, fun thing. And yeah, it wasn't bad. You didn't like the race?
Nah, I wasn't a big fan.
Really? I thought that was really good. I liked it. One more thing that kind of jumped off the page to me is number of comics sold.
Yes, that's the first thing that jumped off for me, too.
Marvel's really, really close to 100 comics a month. They're at 97. That seems like a lot of comics. And we wonder why we're always behind on our reading.
Yeah. And the other thing that to me is Image is way down, and Nailbiter's ending, Fable's ending.
Fable is gone.
Not Fable, but friggin' blah 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 blah. Wisconsin dead, not really dead.
Revival.
Yeah. Is ending. And,
Chew ended.
Invincible's getting ready to end. So you look at these Image staples that they're pulling out, and they've only got 44 books.
Yeah, but there's tons of new stuff in the pipeline. Does it have longevity? I don't know, but
yeah, that's my question exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I'd love to see Image putting out 75 books a month.
That was the next thing I was gonna say. Is let's see if we can get Image up to those DC numbers.
Yeah. 97 from Marvel. That is, they will ship 100 books in a month. It's gonna happen. I guess by and large though, John Jackson Miller here at Comic-Con is saying that January 2017, probably strongly based on U.S. Avengers, is the biggest January in 20 years. Which wasn't Star Wars in January a couple years ago?
Ooh, that sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, it even beat out 2015 Star Wars month. And that's kind of cool. So we'll see. Them U.S. Avengers just must have been huge. And what was your guess?
I didn't wager one, man.
Yeah. I was going to say 250,000, but it has to be more than that.
I'm thinking 333.
That's very specific.
333,000.
Very specific.
Yeah. AKA a third of a million.
Well, Marvel won both dollars and units. Units, they just walloped 42% of the units, almost 43%. DC got a solid third at 31 and 0.33. Image under 10%, but just barely. IDW got 3.5. Dark Horse got 3. Boom got 2. Dynamite 1.5. Titan 1. Everybody else got the last of the 5% there, all bunched together. Titan getting 1 is cool though. That's kind of nice. Probably based mostly on the Doctor Who and Power Rangers titles, right? Not my Triggerman and Peeplands. They're probably not really blazing the sales charts. But so yeah, a big month, which bodes well because we know we've got February's going to have some big numbers from a quarter comic, but still the units are going to be up there. So we used to think January and February were terrible months for comics. So this might buck the trend this year. Look forward to that. And I think that's all I had about the numbers, unless you had something else you wanted to chit-chat about.
That is all I've got at the moment. So, Drew, if you'll head over to previewsworld.com with me, we're going to click on February 22nd, 2017. We're going to see the table view, just because it's a little bit easier to read. And, Drew, why don't you follow me to where we always love to start? Let's start in Dark Horse.
Visitor, How and Why He Stayed #1 by Mike Mignola, Chris Robinson, with art by Paul Grist.
So this is Hellboy?
Is this a Hellboy spinoff?
I believe so.
Okay, so probably nothing but here, no value here. I'm sure that's, yeah. But if you're a Mike Mignola fan, then there you go.
I read the first Serenity No Power in the verse #1, and it didn't grab me the way Leaf on the Wind did. So I may trade weight on this, but I'm not big on this one as much as I was on Leaf in the Wind.
Nice. We're done with Dark Horse, I assume.
All right, since we're done with Dark Horse, let's head on down to DC. Although, Drew, if you'd like, you can pick me up this Legend of Zelda Art and Artifacts hardcover, please.
Yeah. Yep. I'll get that for you.
There you go, thank you, sir.
Action.
He's lying. He's not getting me anything.
Action 974 continues the mystery of the human Clark Kent, and that's who I'm wagering is going to get killed in the future. I think he's the one that's got to go, because there's something hinky about that guy, you know. We got a long-awaited Astro City 100th issue celebration. I know it's Astro City number 41, but collectively it's been 100 issues. This is delayed a little bit so they could get the extra pages, I guess. It introduces Astro City's most revered hero, the Astronaut. Learn his secrets, see him in action, and in the heat of World War II, see the stunning sacrifice that inspired a grateful populace to rename a city after its greatest hero. So it's like the origin of Astro City, the actual city, which is really cool. And this book is great. It's been great for pretty much the entire run, minus the Dark Ages. Great stuff. I know it's $5, but it is an anniversary issue, and it is oversized, so don't whine about it. Get it. And there's a variant edition also. I don't know who's doing that cover. Is that also Alex Ross? Yeah. So it's just a B cover, right?
Yeah.
So don't forget about Astro City and its 100th issue celebration. Hats off to Kurt Busiek. There's that Batgirl 8 with the Son of Penguin. Do you ever find out anything about Ethan Cobblepot?
Apparently this is the first we've heard of him, and so that will be something worth at least snagging if you have the ability to.
Well, the last one, right?
Yeah,
7.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, 7. The first of that arc.
The adult coloring book craze continues. This the thing I don't get it. I don't get it. Do you color, Kyle?
I do, but mostly at the behest of small children.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird.
You don't like hunt out subject matter in which to color on your own, right?
I have not as of late.
Yeah, I don't get it. But it's probably an easy cash in for the publisher, since they already have the pencils of that art, and just take away the word balloons, right?
And just thicken the lines a little bit, and you're gravy.
You're in good shape.
Mm-hmm. Justice League Power Rangers #1 second printing appears to be a neat little alternative cover on that. It does not look like the typical cover A or any of the other. It doesn't look like any of the other variants for that.
Holy,
that might be worth snagging up.
Smokes, there's a Clean Room issue number 16. I thought this book was over. When's the last time you saw a Clean Room come out?
Been a while.
Yeah. I completely forgot about that book.
It made it into some of our listeners' top 10, though.
Yeah. So, I need to go back in time and kind of pick some of those up.
So, what issue of Clean Room was that?
That's 16.
15 was, let's see, 15 from February, 14 February. And they've been coming out with some regularity.
So we've just been glossing over them.
Yep, you've just been glossing over.
Okay.
See, we had October, and then we jumped to December. We missed November, and then there's been regularity since then.
Now, I, as a Batman fan, had dropped Detective. And so Detective 951 is League of Shadows Part 1. The next big detective arc, exploding here as the League of Shadows goes from a mysterious rumor to deadly fact. What's their plan for Gotham City, and how will their actions affect Batman and his team? I'm kind of thinking I should jump back on.
Mm-hmm.
That looks kind of cool, doesn't it?
It does. It does actually sound very interesting.
And it also has a variant, Raphael Albuquerque doing a really cool cover. Looks like it's got some Joker essence on it.
Supergirl being super number 2. Mariko Tamiki on writing, and of course Joelle Jones doing the art. This book is beautiful. It is a bi-monthly book at $5.99 each. So if you're planning on picking up this book at your LCS, you're just in time to also pre-order it for the 2 months from now. 4-issue series. This is issue number 2. Absolutely beautiful book.
First issue was really good. I liked
really
it a
was.
lot. I really liked it a lot. I mean, I don't like the price, but it was really good. It is an odd issue of Wonder Woman, so this is the one I'm reading. You're reading both. I'm reading just the odds, and this is the second part of the truth and about her craziness.
All right. Anything else in DC, brother?
I thought there was something. Is there something in Scooby-Doo team up that I was interested in?
There is a Scooby-Doo team up 23 here. Quick Draw McGraw.
I don't think that was it. Must be the next one coming up. There's something coming up.
There is a Commandy Challenge number 2 of 12.
Hey man, did you read that first one?
No.
You would really have liked it. I think it's kind of got an old school feel to it, but it was really good. Surprisingly good. It was a really cool premise. It's like all these artists and writers are doing this.
This is the one that hands it off to the next.
Yeah, hands it off
team.
to the next girl, the next person, and
the fact that one was good means absolutely nothing for number 2.
Right, and the cool thing was at the end, artist 1 who said, here's the predicament I left Commandy in, and here's how I was going to plan to get him out. And then you saw how the actual person it got handed off to, they took their story and how they got him out of that scrape. And for me, the person who took over, I thought did a better job than what the original predicament person that put him in that predicament would have used. It was better. And now each and every issue, the previous team is going to tell you how they were going to get him out of that scrape, and then after you had seen how the next crew gets him out of that scrape and puts him in a new one. So that's kind of fun. I like that. Now, will that hold up for 12 issues? I don't know. First issue was awesome, though.
Who can tell?
We'll see what the second one is, yeah.
All right, Drew, if that's all for DC, let's head on down to IDW. No Angry Birds for me. No more Back to the Future. Darkness Visible number 1. Mike Carey and Arvind Ethan Davis with Brendan Cahill on art. From best-selling author and screenwriter Mike Carey from Unwritten, Lucifer, Girl with All the Gifts, and That Guy from Dirk Gently. Comes an all-new original world of darkness and demons. When the demons come, humanity reluctantly learns to share the world with another sentient race. 80 years later, this uneasy coexistence has spawned an endless terror conflict. Detective Daniel Alston charged with being the thin blue line between the two sides, is tested to the limit when a demon sets up house inside his soul. But to save his daughter, he'll pay any price, including genocide.
Okay. What do you think?
I don't do much IDW.
Right.
I'm always wanting to do IDW, so depending on my mood, I may give this a shot.
Yeah. We've got some other opportunities. We've got Highlander American Dream. I remember Highlander very well. Good movie.
Always makes me think of Queen and Who Wants to Live Forever.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That was. This is written by Brian Ruckley with art by Andrea Muti, who's pretty darn good, and a cover by Francesca Francavilla, who's even better. The cult classic franchise makes its triumphant return. In the 30 years since, Highlander has inspired a cult following and numerous spin-offs. Now the American Dream follows Scottish swordsman Conor MacLeod.
Conor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
As he navigates through the American Civil War in 50s Manhattan towards the Gathering in 1986. Reunite with familiar faces such as Connor's secretary Rachel, and meet new immortals such as Asta Vasilek. But remember, there can be only one. I don't care much for licensed properties. Usually, Star Wars being a big exception. But for the most part, they don't usually work for me. For long term.
But I mean, in this one, all you essentially have is you have swords and immortality. There's not a whole lot to need as far as
they're going to use characters from the movie, and they're going to probably
There's
try
two.
Because
pretty much everybody else died.
Well, this is before though.
Oh crap! You're right.
And then we're going to probably try to do their likenesses, and I don't know. Sometimes that's swing and a miss, but it's a pretty good team, so that's kind of cool. We also have Starstruck Old Prolgers. Never Die, #1.
Say that again?
Old Prolgers, Never Die. It's written by Elaine Lee with art by Michael William Kaluta. A glorious Starstruck miniseries of Lee included classic space opera. So this has happened before, and we just didn't know about it. Or I didn't know about it. You may have.
Then let's not even bother finish reading it.
All right. It is Old Prolgers, Never Die instead of Soldiers. Isn't that clever?
All right, Drew, that's all I've got in IDW. Let's see what Image has in store for us.
That's 3 times what we usually have in IDW, by the way.
It's very true, actually.
Another beauty with an A and a B cover. This is another new story arc. The last one was great. This one will be great. I can't wait. One of the best. Yeah. And great creators.
Holy cow, Black Road is back. Time for me to jump back in, Black Road.
Yeah. I know we don't usually do one-shots, but Belfry one-shot from Gabriel Hardman, writer and artist. And it's a nice horror one-shot. He's doing Invisible Republic. And I don't know what else he does. But he's been around for a while. We got the curse words. Did you ever read curse words?
Mm-mm. I got that one sitting there, but I've not read it yet. But we do also have a tribute cover.
Yeah, tribute cover. Yep. And
a tribute to what? I'm not sure.
I can't remember what that is. Man, I used to know my Image too. We get the night.
Did you read above? Here, I'll read above curse words on the text of the tribute cover. Text, more text, and more text. More text, and even a bunch of curse words.
Nice.
So whatever the tribute to had a bunch of stuff up there, and they backfilled it. That's pretty rad.
Let's see. Descender. We're at issue 19. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Still good. Sad what happened a couple issues ago. Won't spoil it for you, but it's going down a sad road.
Few #2 has a tribute cover, and it is a homage to East of West. Fix #8. I think I'm gonna reread this whole series just to catch back up for this. Because man, I really like the fix. It continues to be just fun.
That's the end of story arc 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they're putting out 4-issue trades.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, if I was a comic creator, that's how I'd do it. But I like it much better when you get the 6-issue trades. Loose Ends number 2 with a couple of covers. Mayday, I never ended up reading, I don't believe.
Drew, we have a book that I believe I spec'd a few on. Old Guard number 1 by Greg Rucka.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Eisner Award-winning writer Greg Rucka from Lazarus, Black Magic, and Wonder Woman, and critically acclaimed artist Leandro Fernandez from The Disciple, or from The Discipline, Deadpool, and Punisher Max.
You hated The Discipline.
Say what?
You hated The Discipline, didn't you?
Yeah, I did not like that one.
But I don't know if it was the art that you hated or the story.
It was not the art. It was the story. The art wasn't bad. A little porny, but not bad. A little weird bestiality-ish, but not bad. They team together to introduce the Old Guard, the story of old soldiers who never die, and yet cannot seem to fade away. Trapped in an immortality without explanation. Andromach of... Oh, we're going to get into weird names. Immortality. It looks good.
Yeah, let's just stop. We got our 25-cent Outcast.
But like what I like about Old Guard is there's one cover, and it's a no-brainer. Pick it up.
Yeah. 25-cent Outcast. I think got a few of those coming. Not the tributes. We've got the final issue of Revival 47. Gonna miss this one. I don't really like the way it's ending, but it's still been a fun read and really pretty art. And 47 issues is a rarity in all of comics nowadays. You don't see it at all in the big two, and there's not too many books that make it this far. So hats off to almost getting to 50, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
And those Jenny Friesen covers are just amazing. And
yep, I'm gonna have to grab this, probably the tribute, and then take all these to C2E2 and see if I can get all three of them to sign the back end, because I have them on number 1. So sign the first issue and the last.
Oh, that'll be a nice bookend.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Did you talk about Outcast?
I did.
Okay. I wasn't listening.
Well, I just said I got a few coming, but not the tribute.
Yeah, because they're a quarter, so pick them up for 25 cents.
Get it. Yeah, get $1 worth.
Yeah.
At least.
Okay, Sun Bakery number 1. Originally released on Titan Comics?
Don't remember.
I don't know. The sold-out indie hit returns through Image Comics. Sun Bakery Comics anthology features the following stories. Dream Skills about a city where guns are obsolete in society, and the societal culture is swordplay. A space adventure is a quest to photograph the most beautiful galactic vistas, and Batrider, a supernatural skateboarding comic. So we've got several different storylines in there, based on a different indie book. So this is not first appearances of anything. So your spec is lower, because if you really wanted to spec the indie comic, plus it's $5 friggin', so that's probably a skip for me.
Yeah, makes sense.
Snot Girl's first trade is out, so very odd book, but very well drawn and very well written. If you skipped it, it's worth for $10 picking up and reading through that first trade.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I was super surprised to see Stray Bullets number 21 on here, because number 20 was so strange and really felt like it was wrapping up loose ends and putting kind of a punctuation mark on the tail. It didn't really answer everything, but I thought, oh, I guess that's how they're ending it, and I thought that was it. So I guess that was just like a standalone issue that 20 was, and now we're gonna get back to the story. Either way, hey, it's back. Stray Bullets 21. Good stuff, and a nice surprise.
Man, lots of good stuff in Image this week. Lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, if that's all in Image, let's head on down to Marvel.
Another Clone Conspiracy tie-in with Amazing 24, which I think that's just about it, right? Clone Conspiracy's over, isn't it? Maybe last week it was over.
Elektra #1 by Matt Owens and Juan Cabal, with cover by Elizabeth Torque. The only thing cool about this is there's a J. Scott Campbell variant that's amazing that you have to order from his site, but man, it's good looking.
Yeah.
Hulk 3, from what I hear, this has been really good. It was a skip for me, but I think I threw it back on my list as something I need to catch up on and read, because I've heard nothing but good about Hulk, this interpretation of Hulk. Spider-Man Deadpool 14. Hey, Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness, so it's worth reading. Ooh, we got a bunch of Bamfs, and we got Nightcrawler on it, so this should be kind of fun. How did Spider-Man and Deadpool get to Weird World? The pair find themselves fighting all kinds of scary and strange foes. But while they're away, what has Itsy Bitsy been doing?
We don't do a very good job with Marvel.
I got about half a dozen I'm reading.
Yeah. We just don't. I mean, I don't think we ever kind of crack the code on what's going to be the hot one. Of course, there really hasn't been one for a while.
I was going to say, I cracked the code on Spider-Man Deadpool. That one was huge. We saw, Mosaic was a little flash in the pan. We talked about length about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur maybe being something. But all that, you get just a few good reads, but as far as Spec's concerned, the Marvel market is in the 1 in 25, 1 in 50 variants, the store-specific one per store variants, and those are, at the moment, in my mind, they miss more than hit, and they're not worth specking in sometimes.
Right. We need the Riri Williams first appearance and Spider-Gwen first appearance and that sort of thing.
Yeah, which we've got the Silk first appearances and the Spider-Gwen first appearances and all that stuff. So
we just need more of them.
Yeah, we've got the Gwenpool first appearances and all that. So we've done some of our homework there, but they're just not giant dividends yet. All right, Drew, that's all I have in Marvel. Let's head on down to our smaller publishers. Let's look at our Dynamic Forces. Let's look at our Boom Studios. Let's look and see if we have any Aftershocks, any Oni Press.
Well, we have Heathen #1. This is from Vault Comics, that new upstart, cranking them out. And are they the one that's going to do the newsprints eventually? That's the same company. They were gonna do newsprints for like $1.99 or 99 cents. Can't remember if that was them or not. Might have been Alterna. That might have been Alterna Comics. I don't know. I'm getting them confused. Anyway, this is Vault Comics. Heathen #1. Natasha Alterici writing in the art, and a cover by Tess Fowler. So we know where she went after getting canned from Rat Queens.
Yeah, I'll probably skip it just because of Tess Fowler.
She's just doing a cover, and it's a pretty cover.
It is nice.
Adis is a Viking, a warrior, an outcast, and a self-proclaimed heathen. Adis is friend to the Talking Horse Saga, rescuer of the immortal Valkyrie Brynhold, and battler of demons and fantastic monsters. Adis is a woman born into a time of warfare, suffering, and subjugation of women. She's on a mission to end the impressive reign of the God King Odin. Sounds a little Red Sonja-ish. Worth checking out to me. I'm going to support this new comic company and buy all their number ones. So this is yet another one that I'll be checking out.
There you go. What about American Mythology Productions? They have a book called Bedtime Stories for Impressionable Children, number 1, which is Jim Shooter, J.C. Vaughn, and James Nelms.
The Jim Shooter from Marvel?
Yes. Jim Shooter at American Mythology? You bet. The legendary comic writer joins creator-writer J.C. Vaughn from Zombie Proof and Vampire PA, newcomer writer-artist James Nelms, and cover artist Mark Wheatley from Beth Taker and Frankenstein Mobster for a new take on the classic horror anthology Bedtime Stories for Impressionable Children. American Mythology's Year of Horror begins right here. $4.
What do you think?
A couple neat little covers. We got a blank, we got a Home Sweet Home, and then we have a You Axed For It, where we have a small child being attacked by an axe.
Right.
So,
very nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. From Black Mass, we have Quantum Teens Are Go, number 1. There was a backup story in one of the Black Mass that I just read. Maybe Black Eyed Kids. I can't remember. That Aftershock. No. So what was it in? What Black Mass did I just... No Angel. No Angel had a backup story for this in it. And this is written by Magdalene Visaggio and Eric Donovan, with a cover by Eric Donovan. Mad Science is the punkest there is. Teenage sweethearts Nat and Sumesh spend their nights breaking into abandoned super labs to steal the parts they need to build a time machine. And they've just found the most important part. But mysterious entities keep trying to stop them turning it on. All they've got to do is hang on long enough to figure out why. So, the preview pages were okay. It didn't blow me away from an art standpoint, and it was not enough really for the story to dig into me. So I'm probably still going to sample this, but it wasn't a great hook in the preview pages that I read. And this is the same writer that did Kim and Kim, which also didn't click with me. So, be a short leash for this one.
Drew, if you scroll back up, there's an opportunity for you to talk about Crossed Plus 100, because we have both a hardcover and a trade coming out this week. I didn't think you'd skip that opportunity.
Well, it's not new.
No.
Old stuff.
You haven't been able to talk about them in a while, have you?
No, it's been awful. There is no Crossed. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are probably... Yeah, you either already read them, or you're not going to ever read them, or you're already planning on getting this. So I'm not. I have nothing to say. I'm dead inside. Like the Cross.
Rough Riders. Did you talk about Rough Riders, sir?
No.
Rough Riders on the Storm, number 1. Of course, Adam Glass, Pat O'Leaf on art. Great jumping on point. 3 years have passed since the Rough Riders' last adventure, but when an assassin's bullet takes President William McKinley's life, Vice President Theodore Roosevelt is thrust into the role of Commander-in-Chief. As a country mourns the loss of their leader, Roosevelt believes that the assassin is part of a bigger conspiracy, one whose tentacles reach back to Europe and whose intentions are to destroy humanity through worldwide anarchy. The first Rough Riders, really good. Paced much better and moved super quick, where I didn't think it would. So there's no reason not to seek this out. It sounds like it plays really nicely into American history timelines. So very curious about that. Savage number 4, and we see the 10 copy incentive variant. Of course, these are the things that have been blowing up like crazy. If you see any of the variants for Savage, get them, because they're just super rare nowadays.
Huh. Oh man, it's a sad book.
What is?
Savage.
Savage.
It's sad. It's sad so far.
There you go.
There's Crypt of Screams, number 1 from American Mythology, Written and art and cover by Mike Wolfer. Cult horror comics creator Mike Wolfer unleashes an all-new anthology of terror tales designed to make you scream. Printed in glorious black and white. $3.99.
Anything else, Drew?
Let's see. We've got letter 44, number 30. That's cool. I didn't think it'd make it that far. And best thing Charles Soule's doing, for sure. Still going strong. I'm kind of amazed.
Yeah.
Motro, I'm not reading.
You still reading Hookjaw?
Yes. First 2 issues were great.
Yep, number 3 comes out this week. 3 of 5. There are 3 really cool covers on that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Slam. First 3 issues of Slam were awesome. Yeah. They were great. So this continues to be the best roller derby comic I think I've ever read.
Going out on a limb there, aren't you?
Yeah. Skeptics, number 4, is a Black Mass book that has really gotten kind of weird. And it's about like teenage psychics, one set from America, one set from Russia, and their adventures together. It's not great. So I think this might be my last one. World War X was the Jerry Frizen, Peter Schneisberg, and John McCrae book. I read the first one. I don't think I've seen the second one yet. So, but just heads up for World War X. And that might be all for me.
All right, Drew. We've gone through the comics originally releasing on February 22nd. There are enough really good books here to keep you reading for weeks on end, Drew, but I'm only going to ask you what the one comic that you're going to go to your LCS, you're going to pick up, you're going to put in that short box, and you're going to hold dear to you for making some money down the road, Drew. What is that book?
Old Guard, number 1.
You son of a, that was mine.
Yep. I'm going to buy multiple copies of that one.
Yep, I've got several coming in, and that one should be an easy one.
Right next to my several copies of Lazarus and several copies of Black Magic that really haven't blown up. But
there was a time when you could get some good for Black Magic.
There was?
Yeah. It's very short. You talked about Belfry number 1 as a one-shot. I'm not sold on that. Not sold on Sun Bakery being a reissue.
Well, I really threw you for a loop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think you are, but that's okay.
I get to go first for a reason.
I don't know that Justice League of America is necessarily anything. I think it's going to have a pretty big print run on that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down and we're going to pick up a copy of Bedtime Stories for Impressionable Children number 1. We're going to get the Home Sweet Home cover because we think it might be something kind of neat because we haven't heard much from American mythology.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of really good stuff being thrown around on here. A lot of great things to read. 2017 has begun churning some really good comics out. So that is an awesome thing. Oh, also, pick up Revival, the last issue. I don't care if you're reading it or not. Support that last issue and sell that book through for them because they are a great creative team. So, all right, Drew. So we thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. Thank you for tuning in to Kyle and Drew. Want to, of course, invite you to continue to send us your feedback through our social media tracks or through our website and our Gmail account. If there's a book in here that we missed or Drew and I talked over each other like we've been doing for most of the evening, make sure you point that out. If there's something that we're, if you want to just drop a line and say, look, pump your brakes on Old Guard. It ain't nothing special. Feel free to drop that in or anything that's happening within the world of comics. We, of course, want to thank you once again. Thank you for joining Kyle and Drew. For Drew and myself, See ya.
Yawn count 3.